we go, sorted. While I'm waiting for some people to come in, I'm going to get another log on. Got a few preheated ones, fresh today, scavenged from the woods nearby. Should see what we're going to do. Put it in there like that. That'll, we'll put, this one's looking pretty dried out as well. It's got some cracks here. Oh, just realising I probably need to actually give that camera lens a bit of a wipe. Yeah, cracks is a good sign that it's actually ready to crack on and get going. That'll do. Lovely jobs. Let's get this lens cleaned up a little bit. Hi, Sparker. Right. Hopefully that's all good now. Let me just change the brightness a little bit. Oh, it's going so well. We've got some boiling water in the pipes. Okay. Wow, that wood was really primed actually. Wow. Yeah, we got some nice wood actually. I got 3 big ones I'm going to split to turn into 6 decent sized chunks, but they need drying before I split them. They're almost there. But I got some smaller ones because everything was so wet outside. I knew that smaller ones will dry quicker and burn a little easier. Yeah, they're looking really good. Spin some rounds. There we go, lovely stuff. Right, let's grab out a couple of bits. Grab the dad jokes, definitely do some of that. And I'll grab them more or less in case we fancy some of that later. Right, hey, and we have Ella Stewart in. Well, that's a lovely name, Ella Stewart. Hi, welcome to the stream. Just chilling out in my van, waiting for my YouTube family to join me. I'm just going to bring you a bit closer, I think, actually. Excuse the camera work. Hey, Wayne's in. Hi, Wayne. So, how are you doing, Sparker? And Wayne, how are you? Yeah, I'm all right. I've had a very busy day. It's been one of those where just everything seems to need to be doing. So yeah, I've been like the headless chicken, so to speak, today. Just absolutely doing everything. Your log was burning you up earlier. Flabberjabber says, my log was burning me up earlier. I'm not sure what you're saying there. Oh, we have the... we must have a better name than I Hate Rose on there. Why dry before splitting them? Good question, because if they're wet and I try to split them with my hatchet, because I don't have an axe, I only have a hatchet, so I have to kind of give it a bit of welly. They split so much easier when they're dry. It's as simple as that. They kind of naturally crack. Let me show you. Actually, it's this one's actually quite a good example of it. So when I split this one, if you can see, look, it's starting to form a crack there, and so it'll naturally crack all the way through, that will make splitting the logs much easier. Of course, I don't need to split the little ones. It's the big ones that need the splitting. But yeah, great question. That. Hi, Gracie. I'm surprised you're awake at this time of day. I thought you'd probably be acclimatizing to the Australian times now, and so you'd be reversed, but maybe not. I don't know. Oh, we've got some modded chat already. Can't I batten them? I'm not sure what you mean by batten. I'm not very good with terms. You mean like whack it with the hatchet and then bang the hatchet in with a mallet or something like that? Nice one. So what can we call you instead of I hate Rose? What can I? Because obviously I can't call you Rose. So what am I calling you? Because you've been in a couple of times now, so we need a proper name for you. Hi Starry, good evening. How are you? Oh, using a knife and hitting the knife. Yeah, I've tried that. I've tried that, Sparker. I've tried that. This is an old knife that I don't really use for anything much, but it got damaged doing that. So I was like, no, I'll get my hatchet from the allotment, and the hatchet works really well. It does the job. I don't really want a big old axe in here, and I guess the hatchet doubles up for security as well. When did a log's bark fall off? Another good question by Ella Stewart there. It generally doesn't, to be honest. If it's falling off, or if it looks like it's going to fall off easy enough anyway, before I bring it in, I kind of use the back of the saw to kind of just peel it all off. So you can sort of see the little one just, oh, you can't quite see the little one. This little one just here, there we go, this one here, right? You can see how that doesn't really have any bark on it. If I bring it closer, actually, you probably see better. So that's actually barkless. It had a little bit on it, but it was basically wanting to flake off. So I just stripped it all off before bringing it in, because the bark takes a lot longer to dry off and isn't really that useful in the fire. This stuff is, I think, silver birch, so the bark on that's really thin and it was never going to peel off. So I just brought that along, and they'll literally just go in with the bark on, so then it's not a problem. And like I say, it's a birch will burn really well. It's like a silver birch, I think, should burn very well in a fire. They use birch for making the compressed logs, for the the premium quality ones. So I feel like it should be quite a good one. Oh, how do I pronounce that? Do I pronounce it just like Peter, or is there a slight pronunciation difference on that? It's from Belgium. That's really cool. I think you're the first person we've had from Belgium. That's really cool. Yeah, I'm good, Gracie. It's been a day, but I'm all good. I'm a bit late because I've jumped in the shower because I got minging, like absolutely minging today. So it was a really wet day anyway, all sort of drizzly, and that's not nice when I'm working, because I kind of have to still carry on working when it's just about doable like that. But I get kind of like a bit muggy, and then I had a bit of a blockage in pipe work, sort of from the drainage stuff that I needed to clear, and I got some nasty water on me doing that. And because I went out collecting wood in like basically soaking wet conditions, I just was building up dirt left, right and centre. So I've literally done a load of washing to clean up all of my clothes because they got absolutely filthy, and I had to clean myself as well. So it's been a whole evening of just getting things sorted, and I had to get the wood because I was on my last two pieces of the in fact, they were the last two pieces from me and Ethan harvesting it. If anyone remembers the live stream me and Ethan last did where we were collecting firewood, it was actually from there. So I have collected firewood a couple of times since then, but I'd been using all that stuff up, and this was like one of the really big pieces with a big kind of like sort of branch kind of it, so it was all quite knotted. But I did manage to split it. Took a little bit of effort, but I split it, and yeah, that burnt quite well today. That had been really dried like for a long time, so that went up really easy, and that was given me enough to kind of like get these lots started, so that I could then use these to. So I've been burning the smaller ones to help dry off the big ones, and yeah, I think they'll be ready to split by the end of the day and put in the store, and I'll have enough wood to get me through until hopefully tomorrow evening when I see Lucas. But I mean, I should have more than that. I should have enough left over that between what Lucas brings me and what I've got left from here, I'll get through the weekend hopefully, and I won't have had to use any of my my stashed logs from where is it, from Home Bargains, because I'm trying to see how long I can go without using them, or at least only using them when it's absolutely necessary for like a nighttime burn or something. Because they're better for nighttime burning. Although to be honest, when I leave these really big, they do all right as well. So I've got to check the chat again. So we have Javid saying, why did Margaret Thatcher close the coal miners in? I have no idea. I haven't got a clue. Unless that's going to be a joke, in which case I'd like to hear the punchline. Sienna's in. Hi, Sienna. Starry saying, lovely, no obnoxious people around tonight. Well, everyone's been lovely so far. We'll see how we go with that one, Starry. Yeah, I remember you talking to me before, Peter. It's really nice to have you back in. If you come in another time or two, we'll be considering you a member of the YouTube family. What's your job, Moldy? Asked Wayne. I thought I already told you this, Wayne. I'm a window cleaner. So, and I do it with the proper ladders, which is why I've got a set of them up here. Yeah, that's that makes for interesting work when it's wet like it was today. It wasn't wet enough to stop me. Yesterday I couldn't work, but today I could work. But it was a case of getting a little bit damp as I went. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was originally going to be, but because it kind of cleared off a little bit by the end of the day. However, as soon as I finished work and I went to go off to collect the firewood, I would have probably made it before the rain hit to collect the firewood. However, because I had to stop to do the unblocking of my my drainage pipe, which took quite a while, good 30-40 minutes I think, yeah, by the time I got to start collecting the wood, it was already raining. So I was dealing with, I mean, everything was probably wet already from yesterday, but it wasn't pleasant doing it in the rain as well. And then after that, I went for a little bit of a run as well, just because I needed some cardio. What time of day do you get the wood at? I literally got it at the end of work today. So I think it was around, I think somewhere around about 5 o'clock, give or take. I'm not sure exactly because I wasn't really watching the clock. I was just trying to get things done as quickly as possible, and didn't really need to be slowing myself down looking at the clocks. Oh, good. Like, so it is Peter. That's good. Okay. Sienna with the jokes. Sienna with the jokes. I tell you, that's. Hi, Kat. Good to see you. Glad to hear you're well. What you been up to, my man? Can you not get or use coal? Yeah, I can get coal and I can use coal if I want, but I find that the wood is a little bit easier to use. And to be fair, I like collecting it myself because it's free. It's a bit naughty collecting it all, but I like doing that. I like not having to pay for something. I mean, I can pay for wood, no problem, but there's a bit of me that's like, for every bit that I collect, that adds up over the season, and I could probably save myself 150 quid's worth of wood over the space of the whole like winter. So yeah, I quite like the idea of that. I like the idea that I can just save that amount of money, but also it's good exercise because I'm carrying lots of heavy stuff, and also the sawing is quite an intense kind of bit of work as well. And then yeah, just the pleasure of actually burning something I've harvested is it's a bit like cooking with vegetables that I've grown in my allotment, or using bits of equipment that I've built myself and stuff like that. It just kind of that speaks to me inside. That doesn't makes me feel happy. Oh, Peter's asking. Oh, I live in a van, so I converted this myself. So this is all self-built. So I'm inside of a Luton box van, if you know what that is. Shannon's saying, what did Mr. Frog say to Mrs. Frog? I assume ribbit, but No, you're right, Peter. It's basically like a mobile home, but rub it. Oh, that is good, but also terrible. Alice Stewart saying, "What do you use the wood for?" Literally burning in the stove here, so you can see I've got. Well, I say the flame isn't really going that much at the moment. I point blank refuse to cheat today and use the bought wood that makes a better flame. I will be attempting to get this lot to actually burn. We'll see if we can't get it to build a little flame for us. There we go. That's what we want. Bit of flame. Here we are. Cat saying, wait, I didn't realise you were a window cleaner. Yep, that is what I do, Cat. I can't believe you didn't realise that. It took you this long. That's crazy. What's Peter saying? So I guess from your ladders, you live mobile farms. Yep, yeah, I am pretty much fully off grid. The only thing I need to do is top up with water. But I'm off grid with my power. I have a big solar panel at the back, and obviously I can charge when I'm driving as well. Oh, Beth is in. Hi, Beth. Wow, long time no see. Lovely to have you in. How are you? Yeah, you did get modded a couple of times, Sienna. I had to unmod it. Wow, I think I'm really far behind. I'm so far behind. I'm going to try and go quicker. Wow, we've got loads of people. It's lovely. It's great to have you all in, but I've got to be quick with this chat. Right. Banana's saying, I saw you live stream and I was like, nah, I'm too tired to be in live stream. But then I remembered I always come back. So good night. Good night, Banana. Oh yeah, Wayne giving the shout out for the likes there. That's right. Give it the thumbs up. Thanks very much. What's Kat saying? I've been at school today and I'm not in school tomorrow due to an appointment. Oh, right. I guess when you say school, I guess are you like in college or sixth form? I guess it's one of those. Ella Stewart saying, got to go. Nice to meet you, Ella. I hope you come back. And if you've subscribed, that's brilliant. And Sienna's saying, Sparker, the answer was rub it. Yeah. Right. I saw two guys with two cars, a chainsaw and a wheelbarrow the other day on the dog walk, but they were only taking stuff off the floor. Yeah, that's generally speaking what I do. I mean, I will chop down a tree if it's basically been dead for like years and it's just sitting there looking super dead. But generally speaking, I just take stuff that's fallen, because most of the time something that's fallen has been dead for long enough to season. So this silver birch was actually here in Ampthill, and it was just stretched out in, like, there was loads of bits and pieces somebody else had been chopping out, but this tree had been left and ignored. And I was like, oh, that's been down, but it's off the ground in the middle. There's probably a big chunk here, which is okay to use, and it's brilliant. Peter's saying, I have a small cabin and a 5,400 square meter garden. Wow, that's lovely. That sounds awesome, Peter. Where is it? It's like in the like the forest and woods, or is it like by a lake or anything like that? I bet that's lovely though. Or is it in like a built up area? I mean, because you say cabin, and I think to myself, oh, like cabin in the woods or something. Kat saying, however, there has been one instance today where people were playing football, the ball went over, striking the summer house, ultimately scaring the animals. Oh, did I miss something that you said? Oh, I've been at school today and I'm not in school. I know you must be just. Oh, I see. So I told them to keep the ball low. Yeah, you got to look after them animals, haven't they? So trying to scroll through. Cats and one rabbit jumped and the guinea pig started to bite the person who was holding him, so we had to put the guinea pig back. Well, yeah, I suppose you would. Glad to hear you're okay, Beth. Yeah, I'm great. I've wondered where you got to though. I've been missing you in the streams. To be fair, I feel like you felt bad about like your behaviour or something at some point, but you've never behaved poorly in the stream at all. You've always been lovely. So yeah, it's always nice to have you back. And Wayne's saying, can you not get cold and use it? Yes, definitely I could get cold, but I prefer not to. That's all it is. We have Neverlin saying, "You hunt?" No, I don't. I'm not against it, but I don't have the skills, to be fair. My dad used to tell me all the stories about him going off and doing a little hunt with like small stuff, but yeah, I'm not much of a hunter, to be fair, and I don't know the rules around it either, so I'm not much to get into it. But yeah, I don't know. Like, the thing is, there's not a lot of hunting, I suppose, that goes on here in the UK. I think they like do pheasant hunting. I think that's the thing, because a lot of people like sort of breed them, like they feed them and whatnot, look after them, but then they have to cull the population. And that's the idea, is that it gives them the chance to do a bit of hunting. Peter's saying, I subscribed. I don't do that easy, but you are nice and fascinating. Oh, thank you very much, Peter. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Thank you. Oh, it has a pond. Nice. Oh, when you say busy with off grid, you mean you're kind of converting it into off grids? Because that's really cool if you are. And Kat saying the animals are fine though, despite the ordeal. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Kat. You do look after them really well. I can tell you really care about them, which is nice to hear, because not everyone is nice to the animals. And Chuck's in. Hi, Chuck, the incorruptible Lego of St. Christopher. Chuck with the random again. Love you, Chuck. Thanks for popping back in. Spike saying not much allowed for hunting in the UK. Yeah, that's true. I think if you've got the right, is it a license or permit or something, you can go after certain colour squirrels. And as I say, I think people do pheasant hunts. The fox hunting is basically is a done deal now, isn't it? They did start a thing where they were hunting people for a while. Obviously not for the killing, but yeah, that was a thing. Was that called trail hunting or something? But yeah, I feel like that basically that is now under fire as well. What's Beth saying? Being at the drinks after work every day, just gave it a rest today. Well, I mean, it's probably not good to be out and drink every day, Beth, but you do you. But glad to hear you having one day off it. That's good. I guess we've all been there where, you know, I mean, work will do that to you sometimes. A friend of mine is definitely, well, I say a friend. I've got at least 3 friends that are that are struggling with their work at the moment, and like it stresses them, and yeah, it's just, and they're not happy for one reason or another. And I do count myself very lucky that I have a job that I don't mind doing. It aggravates me sometimes, not the actual work itself, but just having to deal with my parents who are like, my mum is atrocious with selecting the work. I mean, I speak from experience, because I built the systems that run it, and I used to select all the work myself, and I see where she messes up all the time, and she doesn't have to pay the price on that. It's me, because I have to drive around. And her answer ever to me saying, could we not just like sort of use the system properly and get everything aligned? Her answer is, well, it's not much of a drive to get from one side of here to the other. And I'm like, well, it isn't when you haven't got to do it, but if you are actually doing that, it's a pain in the rear ends, because it's costing you time as well as fuel, and it does add up. It's like the odd mistake, like once in a blue moon, not a big deal. But when it's like regularly, and you're thinking, okay, there were like multiple instances over a space of a week where it's cost me time and fuel, that could have been another 2 or 3 jobs that I could have basically completed in that time, and that's more money in the pocket rather than wasted fuel. So yeah, it does get a bit annoying, that part. But other than that, the job itself, I quite enjoy the work, because I'm outdoors. It's very active, and I get up heights sometimes, and like today I did one of my favourite jobs where they have a beautiful big house, and I have to go up on the roof at the back to do a couple of windows. I get to stand up there just because it's a flat one, and I can look out over their beautiful garden and all the views behind, and it's amazing. It's one of those houses that probably costs millions, but like I get to enjoy the view just for a little bit. And in the summer, I'm known to basically choose jobs like that to hit at the middle of the day when I'm going to have lunch. And when I start that job, I'll take my I'll take my sarnies or whatever with me, and my drink. And then when I get up on the roof like that, I'll know that I've got a little bit of seclusion where no one can really see me, and I'll just sit down, enjoy the view, have my lunch up high, just enjoyed it. And I'll tell you, that's quite a nice little perk of the job, that one. This leg stuff. Oh, we've got a joke from Sienna. Wow, I'm so behind. I've got to catch up again, but Sienna's given us a joke. Let me just see. What did the leper say to the escort? Oh yeah, keeps it. Yes, I've heard that one. That's a rude one. Gracie's asking how it is in the UK. Wet, absolutely wet. Peter's saying, no, I have electric here, but it's from neighbours. They gave it 30 years ago. It's not legal, so I prepare if that agreement stops. Oh, I see. I'm getting you. Good to be prepared with that sort of thing. All right, Kit's in. Hi, Kit. How you doing? Glad to see you, my man. Beth saying, absolutely can't stand work. Be honest, Beth, I can't. I'm not sure if you ever told me what you did. I would be interested to know what it is you do. If you'd care to say, and then we can have a big old chat about how bad your work is. You can vent to us all and really have a good old gripe. Kat giving it, I'm going now and may pop in soon if you're still streaming. Having said that, I will come back tomorrow. Thanks, Kat. It was lovely having you in and hearing about your animals, and glad you're looking after them. But yeah, you take care and have fun, my man. You've seen the limits, yeah. I see that. Okay. Nearly catching up, I think. What about a stealth camp on their roof? Do you know, I have considered that when I was doing stealth camping a lot. There was a lot of customers' houses where I could see like a little corner that I might be able to get away with, or like you say, on a roof. There's been a couple where I'm like, oh, I could camp up here and I'd probably get away with it. But there were obviously, you know, some legal issues there, and yeah, I'm not even sure I agree with the idea of like camping in somebody's private like garden or anything like that. But I have seen one or two YouTubers sort of breaching that kind of barrier, and I'm like, I haven't watched much of his stuff lately, but I used to watch a lot of GeoWizards. He was one of my favourite YouTubers for a while there, but then he and the Fieldhouse lads, they did like a straight line race across, I think it was the Isle of Man, and they ended up running through somebody's garden at the end, and I was like, that's too much. Like, they were running past the guy's kitchen window basically. I was like, that's too much. You've gone to a point where you're basically upsetting people in their own home and invading privacy. And I'm like, yeah, like there's one thing like going across some farmers' fields, like, which is technically private property, but you've picked a time of year where you're not doing any crop damage and you're not kind of going through a garden, or at least if you've got to go through a garden, maybe just the back edge of like a really big one and no one's going to see you from the house. That's what, you know, there's a line where the risk of like upsetting somebody becomes too great, and running past somebody's window like in their, like they're basically from their back to their front garden, I'm like, no, don't do it, just don't do it. And there was like two sets of them, so I'm like, yeah. And I think stealth camping in somebody's like property very close to their building would, for me, amount to that same kind of invasion. I couldn't do it. Cat's still giving us info though. Storm Ingrid will influence Southwest England tomorrow. Ingrid was named by IMAT Portugal Met Service. Fair play. Bring with it strong. You give us all the weather before you go. I love it. Thanks, Cat. And Sparker saying, looked a bit yellow. Sparker and Chuck are having some laughs. I'm going to just move past that quickly and try and catch up. Yeah, I think I'm at the bottom, finally. Just got a modded bit of chat. I'll show that, I'm sure. Beth saying, I have to sneak my back behind the building at work. Horrible spot, but no choice really. Oh dear. Maybe give up the smoking. There's an idea, Beth. It's terribly bad for you. I won't preach that. I won't preach. Cool. I'm all caught up. Lovely. Right. As I'm caught up, and I've bashed through all of those comments, I'm going to quickly grab the dad jokes and fire one off, because we must get a dad joke out today. I've got to say, Some of the jokes you guys give in the comments are way better than these. It's just facts, really. So dad joke of the day is, why did the picture go to jail? Because it was framed. Yeah, I mean, they could do that better. They could do it better, but I get the gist. Why did the picture go to jail? Because it was framed. Oh, yeah. I feel like these are done in almost like a bit of a cheap knockoff style thing, really, rather than a legit company that like knew how to speak English properly and write a joke out in a way that sounds good. Oh, a data analyst. What kind of data do you analyze then? Is it like kind of like any old stuff that people hire your company for, or is it 2027 hopefully? Are you referring to the giving up the smoking? Yeah, it's not good for you. It's not good for you. But you do it in your own time. But if you do it, remember to do it slowly and taper off, because it's not a good idea just to go cold turkey with that sort of thing. Javid saying, eat black garlic from Sainsbury's. It kills cancer cells. Really interesting. And we've got Peter John in saying, did you hear about the fire at the campsite? Apparently the heat was in. That's brilliant. I'm going to say that properly. Did you hear about the fire at the campsite? Apparently the heat was intense. Intense. I love it. Well done, Peter. Peter John with the big ones, with the big guns, I mean. So Javid saying saffron tea good for the eyes. Okay, we're getting some really good tips in here. Right. Grace saying mouldy too hot. I'm guessing you're talking about the weather over at Australia there. Yeah, I guess it must be summer there. So yeah, you went to Australia in their summer, so of course it's going to be hot. Peter saying, okay, speak to you soon. Have a nice evening. Need to start my stove again. It's out now. All right, take care, Peter, and yeah, enjoy your fire in your stove. You take care, and thanks again for coming back and seeing me. Always appreciated. Well, we have a 6-7 in the chat from Chuck, but I think he's actually saying for 67 years, Saint. Oh, well, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Saint something or other exuded a reddish blood-like liquid, sometimes described as a mixture of perspiration and blood, that required the changing of his garments twice a week. Wow. Okay. I like the word exuded, as if what was he doing? Perspiring this stuff, or was it like, where was it exuding from? The liquid was often referred to as oil of Saint Charbel. I'm hoping I'm saying that right, and was reputed to effect cures. Fair enough. Chuck with the whole random stuff in the chat. I'm not going to read everything he says, but I'm going to read one at least. And Peter John saying, what is the best time of day to go to the dentist? I bet this is going to be a good one. I don't know. Tell us, Peter John, what time of day is the best to go to the dentist? Or Gracie with a knock joke. Who's there, Gracie? 2:30. I've never heard that one. That's really class. Well done, Peter John. 2:30. Oh dear. What's Sparker's saying? Sparker's talking about whatever Chuck is saying. Fair enough. Okay. 2:30. Yeah, that's brilliant. What's Beth saying? Just checking the company's money, what's coming in and going out to spot trends and help make smarter decisions. Fair play. I guess that's something that you could potentially like use AI in as well. I remember Louise worked a lot with AI and was using that to like spot trends and things like that, and that was kind of basically her whole job. I guess it's potentially something that could work for that sort of line of things as well. Maybe you already use it. I don't know. Oh, so Gracie's carrying on with a knock knock joke. So it was knock knock. Who's there? Wonder. Wonder who? Wonder no more. I've no idea how that's a good joke, Gracie. That's terrible. Um, sorry, but it's terrible. Uh, right. And Beth saying doing it slowly isn't something I can manage. Well, I think that's why people use like things like the chewable Nicorette things or the patches and stuff like that. It helps you be able to do the tapering off because it's the nicotine that you need to taper. So because the nicotine protects your gut, it actually has a lot of beneficial properties for your gut. But the issue is, if you just stop and take that away, it takes time for your body to then build up its own protection, which it has stopped doing because you've got the nicotine, and so you can end up with all sorts of problems if you go cold turkey, because you lose the protection that you need, and you need so that's why you need to do like the tapering thing. Tableau and sap. I have no idea what those are. To be honest, Beth, you'll have to explain what those are to me. I am interested, so do explain it. I love hearing about what people do like that sort of thing. And whoa, that's a name. I can I pick anything out of that handle that looks like a name? EHLISU. I don't know. I'm going to call you Sunny. That's the best I can get out of that. Where am I from? I'm from the UK. Whereabouts are you from? And do you have a better name that I can call you other than that handle? Dear me. What's a ninja's favourite section in a bookstore? Asked Gracie. Stealth help. Oh, that is cringe, but that's a bit better than your knock knock joke. Oh, dearie me, it's very, very cringe. This Saint Charbel stuff Jack's going on about and Spock saying I was a semi-professional smoker, Molly, and cold turkey was the only way I managed it. Anything less always results in going back on the smokes. Yeah, I guess like this is the problem with any. So this is the thing though with going cold turkey and anything, because if you're just stopping dead, that's really hard as well, especially for a lot of people. And I always say, don't stop. Like if you're going to stop one thing, make sure you replace it. Don't stop it, but replace it with something else. Makes it a lot easier. So take a bad habit, try to replace it with a good habit. Although I saw recently somebody else like was basically a proponent of this sort of thing. Don't try to stop a bad habit. Try to replace it with a good habit. And I think realistically they've kind of like black and whited it again. And I talked about this the other day, the idea that you can't generalize everything and you can't make everything black and white thinking. And realistically, when I say that, what I mean is you have to find like for instance, there are habits that are worse than others, and you can't just replace, say, smoking with like a good habit, like maybe I don't know, like playing the piano or something like that. Like you have to find something that's going to give you a similar kind of effect, or at least take your mind off it. So for instance, if you need a smoke, fine, you could go for a run. The problem is you can't go for a run that often in a day. It's a sort of thing that maybe like if you're trying to get off, like say TikTok, that's what a run could work for, because when you feel like doing that in the evening, go for a run instead. By the time you come back, you might have to have a shower and you've kind of distracted yourself from the need, and you've got some endorphins flowing, that sort of thing. But that can't work for, like, you know, if you feel like I need a cigarette like while you're working because your work's stressing you out. So you have to find something that you can do at the right times that gives you that similar sort of effect of a distraction or something like that. But yeah, it's very hard, these sort of things, and that's why, like you say, cold turkey sometimes feels easier, but it's just a bit dangerous with some things. That's all. To be fair, I just can't stop letting my stress get to me, says Beth. Yeah, I'm with you there. Stress is one of the hardest things to deal with. And to be fair, people talk about stress and have described it in lots of different ways. For instance, somebody once I heard describe stress as like overthinking about the things that you can't change, or putting off, and somebody else expressed it as putting off the decisions or the things that you need to do, that you could do, but you put them off. So, for instance, like if your job, you hate your job, so realistically, what you want to do is leave your job and go get a better job, right? But you've got all these reasons, or potentially even just like the reasons might even be that legitimate. So there might even be potentially excuses to not do that. You know, it's hard. It's hard. It's a difficult process finding a new job, and you know, like you have to maybe take less money, and you can't do that because you've got bills and this sort of thing. But at the end of the day, you know, until you've had a really good look around and put the effort in, you can't be sure what is out there as an option. But yeah, I mean, there are always options, and if you're just feeling like there isn't any, that just means that you're putting that off, that need to do that thing that you don't want to do, and then that's obviously another way that you get stressed. And there's a few different things that can cause stress like that, but often people think that it's one thing when it's actually another. So yeah, your job's stressing you, but the real stress comes from the fact that you kind of deep down know that you could do something about it, and you just maybe you're not taking the action that you feel you could, and you're kind of burying down all the feelings, and that's the bottling up of all those feelings. That's the thing that kind of magnifies everything and turns what is basically an annoying job or a bit of like a, oh, I've got to get through this, but it's okay, I can enjoy my life once I get away from work. The reason it's still stressing you once you're away from work is because of all this other stuff, and then that's when it gets really bad. That's when you're not getting a reprieve. Whereas if you hate your job, but you can just go home and go, forget about it now and enjoy my time, it's not so bad. But when you can't do that, oh, that's ridiculous. Then I think I've missed a joke from Gracie. Gracie said, "Alexa, repeat. I have lots of intellectual jokes, but I can't tell you any because they will copyright." I lost on me. Right. Give me some tips on how to get off YouTube Shorts every day, says Gracie. I mean, it depends, because this is what the thing is. I like giving somebody an idea of the things to do is fine, but you have to figure out what works for you. So I do, like, I have my bad habits for sure, and I do different things to avoid those bad habits and things that I see as better habits. Let me just fix the stove. So I can't say what would stop you from being on shorts like every day. What works for me probably wouldn't work for you, and then what works for you probably wouldn't work for me. Yeah, so yeah, that wood is struggling. I don't think I dried it out as well as I could have, and I think it's actually quite dense wood, which is one of the issues. I might actually have to split those little ones even just to get them to burn, which is mental. But yeah, that's the thing, that every wood is different, so different densities and stuff, and they burn differently. But yeah, so I'll have a think though, Gracie, and I'll give you a few suggestions. But I'm going to keep up with the chat, I think, as well. Spark saying I replaced it with chewing gum, which is fair. Not the nicotine chewing gum, just normal gum. But I always had an unopened pack of smokes on me, so there was no challenge to attain them. Oof. Gracie says, I have stress right now and in pain. Really, Gracie? I hope not. I hope you're okay. And Beth saying, fagging alone, smoking alone doesn't cut it now. I'm on the drink every single day just to get away from everything. I'm sorry to hear that, Beth. It's, I mean, is the work really that bad? I wouldn't have. I mean, to be honest, this is one of those things. Obviously, I don't know the work, but it does sound potentially fascinating, but also potentially mind-bogglingly numbing as well, depending on like what the job is. And like if you're just literally almost like data entry and just something else is doing analysis, and there's no kind of like, you're not into what you're looking at and analyzing, I can see how you would hate that. Or maybe it's the people you work with. I don't know. Is it the people? Because that's definitely one way to get really stressed, is working with like people you don't get on with. That's yeah. One of my friends, his job would be good, except all the people around him like are either struggling because they're dealing with the incompetent bosses, or they are the incompetent bosses, and he's just getting the blame for all the incompetent bosses' nonsense. And so it's like that really stresses him out. And also they just don't value him, so he's not getting, like, you know, the like pay rises that you should and stuff like that, and the incentives that he needs to really get stuck in a job. And I'm going to stick with Sunny for now. The objects behind you are moving. That's right, they are. Watch this. Look, I can make them move even more. I do that and they'll move. That's because I'm in a van. And so I'm on wheels and suspension. So this whole thing is a little bit wobbly wobbly. And when the wind blows, or if I move, then they move a little bit as well. I can put my my jacks on, so they basically like hold me off the suspension a little bit, and that kind of reduces the sway. But I don't really worry about that. I'm quite used to the little bit of movement. I've got my sea legs, so to speak. I think of it as my van legs. And we have Samix asking why the logs on the stove, because they were damp and I needed to dry them. I literally harvested them today myself from a local woods. So I went in, chopped. I found a tree that was down, and I've chopped some sections off, brought them back, and just drying them off ready so that they'll be splittable and then burnable in the stove there. You can see I've got a little bit of fire going on in my stove. I think that's probably all the burn I'll do today is just the logs that are in there, which is why it's getting a bit low. I don't need to reload that. But then once the stream is finished, I'll probably have a crack at splitting these logs and see how they go. And we have someone saying habla, habla, habla. I don't know what that is. You are speaking a foreign language and I don't understand it. And Beth saying, it's not the job itself, it's life's complications that wear me down. Trying to get the taxes sorted after my dad, looking after my dad, keeping up with everything else that needs to. Yeah, life can get complicated sometimes. That'll do it as well. That'll do it, Cheeky. I'm saying Cheeky now, it's Beth, isn't it? It's because it says Cheeky on there, and that's what I started calling you in the early days. Sometimes it just feels like you're constantly juggling one thing after another with no breather. Can I ask you something, Beth? The things that you have to do you ever write down a list of what you have to do and then work through the list? Because I used to get very stressed because I knew that there was lots of things to do, and it all felt very chaotic. And what I find is really good is I use Google Keep. It's like Keep Notes, and I make a list on there, and it allows me to kind of drag them up and down and put them in an order. And I just take the time just to think about which one I can do on any given day. And it's not always about, obviously some things are time sensitive and I've got to get them done at a certain time, but often it's about what one do I feel like I can basically achieve. And sometimes I want an easy job because I've got a lot of other stuff on that I'm just juggling or whatever. And other times I'm like, no, I can do a big one. And so like I'll adjust the list according to what I feel that's going on. And I'm always adding to it and then obviously ticking things off. And it feels really good to tick things off the list. And it almost gives me like a buzz. So I'm like, okay, I've ticked another thing, and I kind of want to add more things to then tick them off, and it becomes almost like a feedback loop and a bit of a good thing. And it also just helps you like organize it in your head, and it feels less chaotic. I mean, that just worked for me. Again, this is just what works for me. I don't know if it would work for you. Maybe you already do it. I don't know, but it's worth a shot. If you don't do that, give it a try. And I'll be honest, for years I put off doing that, for years, because it just felt like, well, now I've got to put the effort into making a list, and then I've got to keep referring back to the list, and it feels like I'm having to. And there was a time in my life where that just didn't work for me, but now I've tried it and I do it on my own terms, and I don't write the list and then be like, right, okay, I now have to do the list in the order. It's like I treat the list as just a guide, not as a kind of like rigid thing that I now have to follow, just more like that's just a list of things to remind me what I need to do, because I get stressed because I just felt chaotically kind of like overwhelmed because I didn't know exactly how much stuff that I had to do. But if I have it written down, I can sort of have a look and compare and think, okay, this one's going to be quick, this one's going to be long, and start kind of like organizing it in a way. That's all it is. See, Beth saying too chaotic for lists to help. If you're too chaotic for lists to help, you definitely need the lists then. Give them a try, honestly. I know that it seems like a really kind of alien thing. It did to me, honest. I felt exactly the way you're feeling about it. But honestly, like, just when you feel like you've got the strength to you don't have to make the comprehensive list. The key here is you just, whenever something comes in your head, oh, I need to do that. If you can't do it right then and there, okay, put it on a list, right? And just start off with that one item. And anytime something comes in your head, oh, I should get this done, but I can't do it now, right? Put it on the list. Now that makes you feel like you've done something towards the job in the very least, okay? And then you can refer back to the list when you actually have some time. And then this is where the good habits come in, right? And this is a habit you can do instead of doing what you're doing after work, where you then get on the drink. When you feel like having a drink, refer to the list and go, okay, find something on the list and do one thing before I have a drink. Okay, and that's all you've got to do. You've got to say to yourself, look, if I do one thing on the list, I'll have earned the drink, and it'll be even better. And I'll have one thing on the list done, then the drink. And do it like that, okay, and give yourself like the drink as the reward. And honestly, it's baby steps. You don't expect it suddenly to just solve everything, but if you start doing things on that and you start to get into the routine with the list, honestly, it helps so massive. It's ridiculous. And we have Mirror Champion, I think is how we're saying that. I write a list, finish the list, the new, then start a new list immediately. No rest for the wicked. See, I stick to the same list. That's why I use Google Keep, because I can just add to the same list, and so even as I'm working through it, I can add other things, and I'm forever basically. It's a forever list. It's just always repopulating, and some things they repopulate again and again. So, for instance, my fan above me that blows the air around, circulates the hot air from up top down to the lower areas in the van, helps kind of move all the heat from the stove and get it disseminated around. That has to get cleaned fairly regularly, and it's a job that I put off a lot and I just forget to do. And I put it on my list so that it's there, so it's an option for a small little job that I can do when I don't have time for a big job, and I can go, oh, you know, I've got 10 minutes, I can do that one, and it just gives me a little buzz that I've got something done. Beth saying, still cringing about what I wrote the other day, saw the notifications in the morning and wanted the ground to swallow me up. You didn't write anything bad though, Beth. You were fine. It was okay. I think that what you're forgetting is that's what this channel's about. You know, if you want to vent, if you want to say something silly, if you want to get drunk and just like have a flirt, it doesn't really matter. You can come in here and you can talk about anything you like, as long as there's respect and you were respectful. Okay, that's all I ask. Yes, you don't come in here being abusive to me or anyone else, or upsetting anybody, and nobody was upset by you. So you're all golden, really. That's all that I ask. And everything else is good to go. You say what you want, it's no problem. And you'll notice that I don't mod a lot of people, even if they're talking nonsense in the chat. I might not necessarily respond to them because I don't know what to say. Like, we've had somebody speaking non-English in here a little moment ago, and I'm like, I have no idea what they're saying even. We got Champion saying it would be more like guideliness. I thought. I'm not even sure what you're saying there, but I don't know how to respond to that. But Beth saying lists stress me more than they help. So you've tried a list then? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying you've actually tried it and you've actually written a list and then tried to complete the things, but not in like the strict order of it and all that? If you get me, you've got to. It's good to have an interactive list that is just there to help you as a tool, rather than a thing that you have to follow like as if it's like a gospel. That's why I like having it on my phone on the Keep app, because that is so flexible, and then I can just shift things around, and I do that quite regularly. That's something I'll do just as a tiny little job if I notice that the list is getting quite long, but I don't feel like doing anything on the list. One of the jobs that I can do, and it's considered something productive at least, is to go through the list and just have a look to see if the order is roughly how I'd like to do it and whether I want to change that. And that also gives me a chance to just think about them and think about the best times to do some of the lists and just get my thoughts around a lot of it, so it makes it feel manageable. Yeah. So, but it didn't work at uni then? You say you always kept lists. Were you stressed at uni, or were you a bit better at uni? Because that's the thing you got to think about. If you weren't as stressed at uni as you are now, maybe the lists were actually helping more than you realised. I mean, as well, you have to be careful. As I say, it's how you do the lists as well. I think with anything, you have to find the way that works for you. Um, Another way you can do it, if you don't like lists, right? And I'm just spitballing this as an idea, okay? You could write down the jobs, right? And put them on little bits of paper. And you could throw them in a hat. And once a day, you could just literally, or I say a hat, any container will do. But you could throw them in, and you can literally just have a rummage around. And one day, pick one out, once a day, pick one out, and go right. That's the one I'm doing today. It won't work with everything because obviously some things you have to do when you've got to do them. But if you've got lots of things that you need to do that and the little things that are building up and could be done any day, but you just keep procrastinating over, that's the sort of stuff you can put in there, and you can just complete one of those a day and do that instead of the bad habits. That's a really good habit to get into. And I tell you, completing something, getting something done, yeah, it has a high of its own. It just give yourself some manageable things to do, like small things. You say you got stressed at uni, and that's when you started smoking thanks to the workload. Oh yeah, I guess that will have done it. Yeah, so maybe as well from what you've just said there, have you considered lowering your workload in some way? I get that you've got a lot of people relying on you, and you've got your job as well. Um, have you looked at whether you can sort of pull back from your job, or maybe sort of redelegate some of these other um, responsibilities, I guess, and stuff like that? I mean, if you can't, there's not a lot more to do other than just keep getting through it one day at a time, one job at a time. But yeah. We got Elboy in saying, "Hey man, I'm really looking forward to you starring in Brokeback Mountain 2. Do you know what? If they were paying good money, I'd star in it." If I remember rightly, that was a long while ago, old Brokeback Mountain, but I think that was a good movie. I think I watched that. I don't think it left enough of an impression for me to remember much of it, but I think I remember thinking like it was a pretty decent movie. And we have Joe in saying, "Smelly, smelly poo poo all day long, all day strong." Oh, yeah, well, better out than in. That'll make you strong. Beth saying, "I need to pay off my mortgage." So, no, well, yeah, that'll do it. Well, you say that though. Well, I suppose it's maybe not the best time to be selling up and downsizing. But there's always that as well, I suppose. Or you could do like me. There you go, Beth. You could give up the house, move into a van. Don't worry about a mortgage at all. Oh dear. I got to admit that's one of the reasons I like living in a van, because I'm not paying anybody any rent, not paying a mortgage, and I've got a roof over my head, and I'm comfortable, and I like that. Gracie's saying, "I don't feel like I can say what I want." What do you mean, Gracie? Hold on. Don't feel like say what I want. Whoa. I'm missing what Gracie's been saying. That's sorry, Grace. I've been so focused on what Beth's been talking about. I do apologise. Let me just go back and see what you've been up to. So you were talking. Oh, you were saying that you were feeling a bit of pain. I hope you're all right, Gracie. I hope it's nothing serious. Maybe it's that. I don't know. Well, I'm not going to make a guess. It might be rather rude to make a guess as to what it is. Anyone fancy cheesecake? Asks Joe. No, I don't like cheesecake. To be fair, no, I'm not a cheesecake fan. Like in here, what do you mean, Gracie? You can say anything you like as long as it's not explicit, and as long as it's respectful to everybody. You can say what you want to say. I mean, you may get automatically modded if it has some sort of weird sort of thing to it, and I'll read it and I'll decide whether it stays modded or not. But crack on, Gracie. You say whatever. As I just said to Beth, like we're as long as everyone's being respectful here, all chat is open. I mean, we obviously have the big things we don't discuss, which is like, you know, politics and religion and you know, there's big topics like that. I touch on them sometimes here and there in a little way, but we try to stay off like big proper kind of discussions on these things. Beth saying, I can barely manage my focus, never mind a van. Fair play. Fair play. That's your problem. You've got to focus. Shouldn't have bought a Ford. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. As long as you're driving a Corsa, you're all right. And anything else is half decent after that. What's your guesses? No, I'm not guessing about what's wrong with you. I don't know. It could be anything. So you can tell us what's wrong if you want, Gracie. I hate it actually. Oh, what, your Focus? Yeah, I can recommend a Peugeot Boxer to you. That's a very good vehicle. Oh, poor Beth. I don't know. I wish I could help you more, Beth, but it sounds like you've got the struggles on, and yeah, just bear one thing in mind, which is that putting off doing all the things and getting drunk instead is probably not helping your situation at all. And if you spent the time working through the mess you've got to deal with a bit more often than the drinking, you probably could dig yourself out the hole. But that's a hard one to force yourself to do. I'll be honest. It's like I talk about. It's hard just to force yourself willpower to just get on and do stuff. And you have to find ways around, like getting yourself out of the bad habits and into the good ones. But it is hard. It is hard. And the problem is, even if someone like myself is suggesting things, that it all sounds like the most difficult thing in the world. And I get that, because when you're in that situation and when you're dealing with all that, yeah, it's so heavy that it feels like you can't do any of it. And in your own time, you'll find your way through and eventually figure out some stuff. And it just takes a bit of time. That's all it is. It might take as long as it does for you to pay off your mortgage. I don't know. Hopefully you don't have many more years left on that. But that's, you know, once that's done, then yeah, maybe things get better. Grace says, fine, I hate one boy, he stresses me out. Not just that. Oh, boys will definitely stress you out, Gracie. Jeez. I mean, that's the tale as old as time. Boys stressing girls out and girls stressing boys out. I mean, that's just how it works. That's how it goes. But if it's not just that, what else? ASF, what's that? Is that? I don't know what ASF is. No, I can't remember. Beth saying she's actually. Oh, that's great that you're feeling positive about it. That's good. What things do you have to look forward to then? That's what I'm wondering. I mean, like for instance, like I don't know how long you got left on the mortgage, but I imagine once you get paid off, that's a big day, isn't it? But what else? What else are you looking forward to? That'd be a much nicer thing to talk about, I guess. What? Spark is saying, I was glad to see the back of home ownership. It's just another bind to slavery. Yeah. So I was enlightened to what a mortgage actually is. And most people will think a mortgage is a way to buy a house, right? And to own your own property. That is not what a mortgage is at all. So I won't make anyone guess. I'll just explain this. But I'll tell you who invented the mortgage. Banks did, right? There was a banker. He invented the mortgage. And there was one reason why they invented the mortgage, right? Banks make money by lending out the money they are holding on behalf of, like, Joe Public. So, you know, we deposit money, and the way that they make their money is to then take that and loan it to people and charge interest, right? And what they found was they had a limit to how much, like, basically people wanted to borrow. And so there was a limit to how much they could earn. And some smart person went, you know, if we got people basically buying their own homes and borrowing the money from us, we could earn loads of money from the interest on these huge, huge loans. But here's the kicker. There isn't any risk to us. Like, if we give them all the money, if they can't pay us back all the money plus all this mad interest, the property that they were buying has value. If we make a mortgage up, right, an agreement that says basically they'll own it, and therefore they have all of the liability. So if the place falls down, or if they have to maintain it in some way, or there's any issues with it, all of that, all those headaches are theirs because they own it. However, we'll retain the right to sell it off if they don't keep up with their payments, and we'll take all our money first, making sure that no matter what happens, we get paid, but they get all the headache and all the liability. Fantastic. That's a great idea. We'll call it a mortgage, sell it to Joe Public, and tell them they'll be able to have all this fantastic own home thing, and we'll make it very popular. And yeah, they made huge amounts of money. Of course, then they got greedy, realised that they still weren't making enough money, and started making all these CDOs and all that sort of thing, and basically making like basically big gambles built over mortgage markets and stuff like that. And that's a whole other story. But the mortgage itself, it was designed and invented by bankers to make bankers money. They shoved all the liability onto the homeowner, but they had no risk themselves because there was always the value of the property there for them to basically suck all their profit out of. And the second you sign, they guarantee some big profits. That's how it worked for them. As simple as that. That's that. And so when Sparker says I like home ownership and it's just another bind of slavery, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Right, Beth saying pay off my mortgage, quitting smoking, and getting my life in order. It'll all happen. It will. Just one step at a time, Beth. One step at a time. Gracie saying I called him, but I never called. What? But I never called me a cat. I don't know what you said, Gracie. You've gone all a bit weird. I don't understand what on earth you're saying. He said, and then I called him, but I never called me a cat. I have no idea what you're saying. But tomorrow is a new day. Gracie, you've confused me properly. Well, no. So Gracie just saying, basically, well, I'm getting the gist. You've got some boy trouble. He's annoyed you, and another friend has as well. That's you just get. I tell you, it won't be the first. It's not going to be the last time, Gracie, that you're going to be annoyed with a boy. I'll be honest with you. That's gonna come up often. Don't worry about it. Just try to focus on something else. Andrew saying, is being weird good? Yeah, 100%. You don't want to be normal. Normal's another word for like basically you ain't got a life and you ain't got nothing to do. I mean, there is no such thing as normal anyway. But if you're trying to be normal, you're trying to do the wrong thing. Simple as that. What you should be trying to do is what makes you happy. Sparker says, I'm so weird and I love it. Exactly. Sparker's weird and he loves it. I'm weird and I love it too. Beth saying, I'm actually dying for a Goldschlanger. Is that how we're saying that? At the Min. What is that? Is that a drink? I don't know. And Grace saying, he called me gay, but you're doing it again. So I got the first bit. So he called you that, but he called me a cat, No, I have no idea what you're saying. But Gracie, you're speaking in code. You're speaking in like young person code, I think. I don't understand a thing that you're saying. I mean, I can guess what you're trying to say, but it's a guess, and I don't think I'm getting it. And half of that is just, I don't know. What's this about him calling you a cat? I don't understand. Sparker with the 6 7s in there. Beth saying, yeah, a cinnamon flavoured schnapps. Okay, a Goldschlanger. Okay, it's got a cool name to it. If a boy's teasing you because of red socks, it just means he likes you. Honestly, Gracie, that's how that works. A boy's only paying a girl attention at your age because he likes you, and he doesn't know how to express it. That's all it is. And he's not confident enough just to come out and say it because he's worried that maybe you don't like him back and he's going to look stupid. That sort of stuff. That's boys for you. It's just what it is. When we turn into men, then we don't have that kind of problem. So then I can say to a woman when I like her, I like you. And you know, the worst that happens is she says she doesn't like me back, and it's fine. You know, it's nothing wrong with it. She might say she likes me back, and then we've probably got bigger problems. Oh dear. Um, Basically saying I never. Uh, but why do you keep saying you call me cat? You know, what is this about a cat thing? Gracie, you're still confusing me. You're not explaining yourself very clearly at all. I think what it is, you're trying to say stuff without actually explaining it 100% because there's bits you don't want to say, and it's just coming across like I just don't understand. That's all it is. I don't drink. No, I don't drink at all, Beth. No, never have. I had like little sip of my dad's beer maybe when I was little, and my parents used to do like a tiny bit of red wine in a wine glass for us when we did New Year's Eve, because New Year's Eve was a big thing in my family. Um, but like when I was very very little, I don't even know how old I was. I might have been single digits. I might have been. I definitely was younger than a teenager. Put it that way. Um, but yeah, at some point I just decided I didn't like any of it and I didn't want to drink. And then my experiences after that with other people around me who did drink definitely reinforced that decision. And yeah, never got into drinking. So yeah, never smoked, don't do drugs, never did drugs, and never drank either. I'm just not into that sort of stuff. Yeah, done plenty of other bad things, but just not those. Oh dear. What? So Gracie got modded somehow. But I still don't know what she's saying in like weird. That's weird, Gracie. You got modded. I don't know why that got modded, and also I don't even know what you're saying. Still, you're speaking in code still. Oh dear. Um, well, I guess from your perspective, Beth, that's great, and it is. It's good that I don't do those things, because A, then I'm not spending money on those. B, I'm not doing these these like bad for my health kind of things. Um, but there are some downsides to it. So, for instance, because I don't drink socially, that limits my social kind of circle in a way. Um, like I don't have a problem with the people around me having a drink. So I used to go around to my local pub and play pool. But I was there to play pool, not really not get drunk or anything like that. And so I'd be playing with people who play pool, not like with people of my own age who were just trying to get like basically binge drinking until they were sloshed. Um, and like when I was at uni, like the kind of friends groups that I was like part of it, it was sort of, I wasn't friends with the people who were going to go out drinking all the time. That just wasn't my scene really, and going to clubs and things like that, because clubs are not a place for somebody who's sober. I can say that much now. I did a couple of times. I went to clubs when I was at university. Usually I was just following a pretty girl. It's how I ended up there, but it was never fun. It was never fun. Um, um, oh right, so what I'm getting, Gracie. So oh right, you're saying. Well, why don't you just say that, Gracie? Jeez. Well, what? I don't understand why he would call you that though. That's weird. That's really weird. But anyway, um, or or is that just? I don't know. I'm still a little bit hazy as to what you're saying exactly, but I'm getting the gist, Gracie. You like this boy, he doesn't like you back, and it's upsetting, and I get that. That'll happen as well. That happens all the time. But if he doesn't like you back, you can move on, and you'll find plenty of boys who like you. There's many boys out there. Sienna is back with us, saying getting sober was the most liberating thing I ever did. I wouldn't be on the path I am now, but it is very isolating. Yeah, yeah. A big change like that in life can definitely change like your social kind of setting very much. It dislocate a lot of things in your life. What did you study at uni, if you don't mind me asking, Elizabeth? Maths. I was a proper maths geek. I was. It was just I was good at it, to be fair. But yeah, that's how I met Noah. That is. He was also on maths at university. We met on our first sort of. We had like in the School of Mathematics on campus. They had like a cafeteria room, and all the people like from our year all met up on like one of the early days, and yeah, we basically had like a sort of they kind of like said right, everyone meet here, and then everyone sort of congregated into tables and were meeting each other, and then they basically said right, everybody go around try to say hello to as many people. And it was just like a meet and greet kind of thing, trying to get everyone to find friends groups, and we settled into a group, and me and they were in the same one. Yeah. So Sienna's saying, Beth, I'm still on my new path. Come Monday, it'll be 2 years. That's a big milestone. That is. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. I have Telegram. If you use that, just keep your chin up. Yeah, that's amazing of you, Sienna. Gracie's saying, you said I'm gonna end your what? Eh? You you mean he said that to you? That's is that what you're saying, Gracie? Because that's well out of order. He shouldn't be saying things like that. Uh, um, well, if you know you're going to regret it, Gracie, you probably shouldn't do it. But I am curious what it is you think you're thinking of doing that you think you'll regret. You got my interest peaked. But don't do anything stupid, though. Look after yourself is what I'd say, and yeah, just take care of yourself. I was going to play this game, but we've had such good chat this evening. It's unreal. Like an hour and 15's just flown by, and I've not even noticed the time flying. It's been great. You guys are amazing. You know, I'm going to just take a bit of time. I was saying this a lot in the early days, and I don't feel like I say it enough anymore. But you guys are amazing and fantastic. Like every one of you comes here on at least a semi-regular basis, and some of you in here like ev- most days, if not every day. And I love you all. I appreciate you all so much. I really do. It's really amazing. It's just having that level of support, people coming in and taking the time to spend with me like this. It's fantastic. It has basically, I will say, it's kind of like turned my life around quite a bit. And I think this is why I'm thinking about this now, because obviously talking with Beth about this sort of stuff and with Sienna chiming in about the whole 2 years coming up as well. I was definitely in a bad place when I first started doing these streams, I will say. Um, and it wasn't in my darkest days, but I was definitely still in the dark days. And yeah, I think slowly but surely having you guys here on a daily basis just to chat to and feel less lonely in the evenings and stuff really has kind of bolstered my mood on a regular basis enough that I just feel brilliant these days. I really do. Always look forward to doing the stream. Even on the bad days when I was just like having a bit of like a down day, I still there's like a glimmer of like just like looking forward to just chatting with you guys, and I know that by the end of the stream I'm going to be feeling really great. Yeah. So, and you're right, Sparker. It's like a positive feedback loop. I like to think that some of you are getting something from this, and I'm getting something back, and we just keep that loop going, and hopefully, by the power of the feedback loop, we can get all of us having better lives and just enjoying what we have a bit more. Because sometimes you can look at it and I tell you, you can look and go, oh, life is terrible, but actually life could be a lot worse if you think about it. Yeah, there was some guy asking about whether I thought I had white privilege the other day, as growing up as a white Englishman. I was like, well, I don't know about the white part, but definitely growing up in this country is a fair privilege, even though it's going to absolute ruin it these days. It's still better off than a lot of countries I could have got born in. So it's I can't really grumble about it, to be honest. I've got to look at it and go, life is pretty decent as things go. It could be so much worse, and we can always work on improving it and making it better. No, I reckon all the power's coming from that incorruptible holy leg. I think that's where it's all coming from. Life is terrible. True, but the people that we meet during our life are sometimes amazing, and so well worth hanging around for, Gracie. Let me check what Gracie's been saying. Feel like doing something. Yeah, drinks. I feel like I need to a rage session. Why would you regret that? Have some fun, Gracie. You're young. You know what I mean? If you've had a bit of a bad sort of knockback with that sort of thing, go out and have some fun. Don't don't go crazy. Be safe, right? Don't make yourself ill, but get out and have some fun. Bit of a rage, no problem. Yeah, or whatever you want to do, go for it. Go for a rager, no problem. But just be safe when you do it, and know your limits. And yeah, but you want to blow off some steam. You're young, get it done. But that said, you're too young to be drinking. I say like I'm your dad or something. Oh dear. Right. Well, it's been an hour and 20 minutes, and I've said my little piece, and I think we should probably call it here. It's been absolutely lovely, as I say, talking to you guys today. It has been an absolute treat. But I need to get off because I need to think about getting to sleep. It's like gone 11 o'clock now, and I've got, well, to be honest, work isn't going to be early tomorrow. I'm fully aware that it's going to be raining in the morning, so I think I'm going to have like a reasonable start time, and I think I've got a slightly shorter day tomorrow. For some random reason, I've been given slightly less work. I think basically there wasn't enough over here to finish up, like fill out a day, and so I've been given just the dregs of what's left, and that means I get a slightly shorter day, and I'm going to get off to Biggleswade and chill out tomorrow. Might collect some more firewood, to be fair, if I've got the time to do it, but I might crack on with a few jobs off my list. Yeah. Oh, we've got Elijah in saying you replaced the springs in the bed after the what? That's my. I ain't done that to my ex-missus in a long time because my missus is an ex-missus. But there we go. I will enjoy it. I won't show that comment, but I will enjoy it. Right. And Spark saying, great chatting with everyone. Beth, there's always lightning. Yeah. Reach out, Beth, if you ever want to chat. I always say, if you're still here, I've got my email in my bio. Reach out. We can have a little chat. I'm happy always to exchange numbers with the adults who are in the what I class the YouTube family. Always happy to swap numbers and chat on WhatsApp as well. And I will say, Sparker, you did send me that big long email. You are welcome to just shoot me a message on WhatsApp, and that it's like, you know, you fire away. I can't always respond quickly. You know, I have this trouble with Susie where you know, if I don't like basically respond back to her in the way that she expects it to, she loses her absolute cool with me, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with you. Like I'm busy sometimes. I just can't get to a message. But yeah, if you want to shoot me messages and that, crack on. Yeah, no problem. But emails is fine too if that's easier for you. It meant enjoy the bank. I ain't going to the bank. Always correct. Right, lovely stuff. Well, take care, everybody. I will see you tomorrow as always. And for now, have fun.